I know a lot of people struggle to get into, no, um, okay, here we go. Take two. I understand a lot of people want to be in business, but they don't really know how to start, and starting is the most important part. Let me eliminate all the worries and doubts about how you would start a business by simply putting it this way. It's about how you help somebody. Business is simply just doing something that helps people either get what they want, a product or a service. I'll give you a simple story as an example. When I was about third or fourth grade, I was at my elementary school, and I brought to school Hubba Bubba. Who remembers Hubba Bubba gum? It came in the pack, had 5 pieces. They looked like little rectangle blocks. And man, when you're a kid, it would like fill up your whole mouth. So I'm eating one, and one of the kids next to me said, "Hey, can I have a piece?" And I said, "No, you can't have a piece, but you can buy a piece, right?" And so he flipped me a quarter, and I gave him a piece of, I think it was purple bubble, Hubba Bubba, right? So now he's got a piece of gum. Back then, a pack of gum was about 25 cents. So I was paying 25, 35 cents, if I remember right. And I gave him that, and it clicked in my head. I've got 5 pieces. I ate one. I gave one. I'm about break even. I've got 3 left. Maybe I can sell them or chew them. And so I decided to sell them. Made 75 cents that day. So the light went off. I go down to the local store. It was called Tom Thumb. It was a tiny little convenience store, gas station out front. I go in there, and I'm old enough where the guy, Tom, was actually working it. So Tom Thumb owned the place. The guy that owned it was behind the desk checking everybody out. And I walk up and I bring forward like maybe 4 or 5 packs of gum one week. And I go to school the next day and I sell my gum and make a couple bucks. And I do that again the next day. I come in, buy 4 or 5 packs, and I come back. And now Tom's recognizing this little dude coming in fourth grade, pedaling to my little BMX bike up there, the 2 miles to get to Tom Thumb, and going back with a bunch of bubble gum. Tom looks at me one time when I'm at the front desk. He's a businessman too, right? He owns the store. He's trying to help people. He says, "Young man, I got a question for you. How come you're buying so much gum? What are you doing with it?" And I said, "Well, I take it to school and I sell it to the kids at school for a quarter a piece." And he's like, "Really? It's pretty good business." So he says, "Hey, I want to show you something in my storeroom. You know, we sell that gum in cases, right? You're buying it in a pack, but those packs come in cases in the little box. I buy it by cases." So little did Tom know or not, he was teaching me wholesale, direct to consumer business and buying at discounts through wholesale. I now knew that, but back then I was just like, "What do you mean it comes in cases?" He's like, "Come back to my storeroom and I'll show you." Now, that's not good advice for kids. I probably should have went back to the storeroom because who knows what Tom's motivations were. But looking back, it was kind of dumb. But I was a business guy, so I was like, "How can I see this?" So I go back into this warehouse in this little store, but there were shelves upon shelves upon shelves of gums and candies and licorice and everything you can imagine, right? Beer, everything he had was just stacked up, and I didn't even realize behind the storefront was an entire setup of a warehouse. And he brought me to the gum section, and he shows me how he buys this stuff in case packs, and then those packs come in boxes called cases. And he said, "I'll sell you the case, a box of them at a discount, cheaper than buying them like you're doing it right now." And I thought, what a great deal! I can get it even cheaper. I can make more money. I had plenty of money at this time, so I buy the packs in cases. I take it to school. Now I'm huffing this stuff in my backpack, right? I walk into school. I'm at recess, maybe playing hoops in the front, which I love to do. And all my buddies now know I'm the go-to gum guy, right? I've got grape, apple. I've got watermelon when it first came out, right? Yeah, I'm that old. I remember when watermelon first came out. So I've got all this gum in my backpack, and I'm like the gum dealer, right? Prior to school, some guys were giving me their milk money. Some girls were giving me their milk money, right? So everybody's giving me cash or coins. I'm putting them in my bag. I'm dealing out the gum like crazy, right? So this goes on for about a year. And then at the end of the school year, I just remember rumor was that gum was going to be outlawed in school. No more gum. And my business was just like this empire, the bubble gum, blow bubble, delicious gum empire that I had built with all this work was about to come crumbling down. Well, lo and behold it, we get into first period right before the end of school year, and the buzzer goes off, and it's the principal, and she's on the air, and she says, "Listen, as of today, no more gum in the school. The janitors have been finding like gum underneath the desk." So the byproduct of my business model, selling hundreds and hundreds and thousands of pieces of gum, was kids were chewing it and sticking it under the table, right? So the janitors were going crazy. So their solution, simply just cut out gum altogether. Well, this is what happens in business all the time, right? You build something up, and an outside factor blows up your potential for your audience, or can destroy your audience. Now, two different entrepreneurs exist in life. One just says, well, that's the end of my business. I don't have a business anymore. The Bubblegum King is out of business, right? Little Parkview Elementary is done. I can't sell it anymore. There's a second type of entrepreneur that understands that where there's a problem, there lies a solution. And if there's a problem and a solution, there's an opportunity. Plus, I've got all my kids that are addicted to gum and they want more. So go to Tom Thumb. I tell him my dilemma, and he shows me a new product that had come out right around that time called Blow Pops. Anybody know what a Blow Pop is? Man, they're delicious, right? You got the green ones, the grape ones, the red ones. I don't know. I like the grape ones. And you can do the same thing. You can buy them in a case. It's about so big, and I think they were like 50 or so into a case. I would buy them and sell them. So now I'm not technically selling gum. Kids are coming to school with suckers in their mouth. At the end, everybody knows a little secret, right? On the inside is gum, and that gum is horrible. Sorry, Blow Pops, but your gum sucks. You might want to change that formula, right? So you eat it, you chew the gum for a little bit, you spit it out. So a lot of kids are spitting it out before they even got into the classroom, right? So in business, what you always have to look for is opportunity. And now, opportunity is simply, it comes knocking a lot of times where you recognize a problem, or you recognize that people want something that you have. I think so many times people overcomplicate business and they start to think about it in too complex of terms. The bottom line is, if there is a demand for something and you can figure out pricing, you've got a business model that is potentially can scale into profitability. I learned right away from that first piece of gum, selling it for essentially what I had into the little pack, that my business was already break even. Now, whether you're dealing with 25 cents and 50 cents, or 25,000 and 50,000, or 25 million and 50 million, it's the same thing. You have to learn how to break a business even, right? Then after you break a business even, then you got to learn how to be profitable. And I think too many people overcomplicate business. They think that I have to be making money on day one. You really just start to solve the problems for your customers. The math is pretty simple once you solve the problem. It either makes enough money or it doesn't. You know, one of the other solutions I could have had was charge more, but quarters were amazingly efficient back then, because that's what it was for milk money, right? You wanted milk that day, you were dropping a quarter. So while gum sales went up, milk sales within the school went down. Whatever, it wasn't a competition for me, right? So what I want you to understand is, starting a business is as simple as helping somebody solve a problem, looking for opportunities where people have a demand or a need, and then helping them get what they want. It's as that simple as it gets. It doesn't get more complex than that. Anytime we overcomplicate it more than that, we create a business model that typically isn't going to work. And even then, when a monkey wrench gets thrown into your business model, you have to learn two things. You either quit, which is actually a viable option a lot of time in a business. Just end it. Don't start. I would advise you go to step 2, like I said, and that is pivot. Find an alternative, right? You move from gum to Blow Pops. Well, there's one little piece more to this story that I think is interesting. I was buying so much gum that Tom at the store said, hey, listen, I want you to fill out this little postcard, and you could become a guy that actually tests gum, right? So it was like Bubblicious, or one of the candy companies that sold gum back then. This is before the internet. This is before all that stuff. It was literally, you'd fill out the card, I mailed it in, and our agreement was that they would pay me $50 a month, $50 a month. They would send a box about yay big with maybe 5 to 10 different packs of gum and flavors, and I would chew them and try them and give them to my friends and get feedback, and then write on the cards like, this black licorice gum is garbage. Do not sell this, right? I do remember the first version of Watermelon that came out. It was trash. It was like it liquefied in your mouth, and so I ended up becoming a gum expert, right? So that's another thing about business, is if you spend enough time in it, your level of expertise goes up. You don't have to be an expert at the beginning to start something. You have to be willing to solve problems at the beginning. That's the start of any business. As you spend time and energy in it, your expertise level increases. I started to know the content of the gum, the manufacturers, who was going to have problems. I started giving them their feedback. This is like in 4th and 5th grade, right? So I started as the bubblegum man, and now I'm just a guy telling you how to maybe start your own business. If you don't believe me, all you got to do is just test it for yourself.